But there is one type of warhead which the Tomahawk has never used. A new era, a new definition of fear. Nuclear weapons are the ultimate nemesis. Bikini Atoll, July 25th, 1946. The Baker test was the first ever underwater nuclear explosion. It sent a column of water a mile high and 95 test ships to the ocean floor. The effects of each test, both on machine and animal, confirmed the horrors suffered at Hiroshima and Nagasaki less than 1 year before. The two atomic bombs used in those attacks were perversely cartoon-like in appearance and name. Little Boy and Fat Man abruptly ended the Second World War. Between them, they annihilated 105,000 people. Oppenheimer's scientific quest to split the atom set him on a course with destiny that both he and the bomber crews that flew the raids would have to live with for the rest of their lives. Los Alamos, New Mexico. As the center of the Manhattan Project in the mid-1940s, these now derelict buildings were once the nerve center of operation. The nearby desert, the site of the first atomic explosion. The electronics invented to detonate that explosion made the atomic bomb the smart weapon of its time.
My name is Brian Cathcart, and I'm a nuclear historian. The atomic bomb operates by splitting atoms apart. As each atom fragments, two parts fly apart, and they will hit the next atoms and cause them to fragment. And you set up a chain reaction. Now, with each splitting, with each fission, there is a release of energy. The process happens unimaginably quickly and releases an enormous amount of energy.
The Trinity bomb was a 21 kiloton device, equivalent to 21,000 tons of conventional TNT.
It's difficult to imagine now from this distance what an enormous leap of technology the atomic bomb was. At the heart of an atomic bomb is a small ball about the size of a grapefruit of plutonium. At the heart of the grapefruit is a pip, and the pip is an arrangement, another clever arrangement of metals, which at the appropriate moment will release a spray of neutrons, of atomic particles. That spray will set in motion the fission process, the chain reaction, which will then release the energy.
To create that reaction, you need to crush the plutonium with extreme force. This is achieved by surrounding it with a carefully crafted ball of high explosive. Around the surface of this sphere are numerous triggering devices, so that the detonation doesn't come from one point, but from all directions at once.
To achieve this effect of what's called multi-point detonation, you have to fire an electrical pulse through all the detonation points at the same instant. As that wave closes in on the grapefruit, it crushes it, it turns it into a molten mass.
1945 was barely into the electronics age, yet they were able to contrive a lightning-sized bolt of energy to strike 32 points around the bomb within a few millionths of a second.
To achieve that was a step beyond anything conceived in weaponry.
But this was only a taste of the devastation to come. The A-bomb was eclipsed on March 1st, 1954 by the hydrogen or H-bomb. Instead of splitting atoms apart, within 10 short years, scientists had succeeded in fusing them together to create annihilation on an even bigger scale. Again, the tests were carried out on isolated Pacific islands.
In the 56 seconds it takes the bomb to fall, the men of Operation Ivy wait on Parry and Eniwetok Islands.
A hydrogen bomb works by fusing atoms together, by bringing light atoms together under enormous heat.
The bomb is now at 8,500 feet.
When that happens, each atom releases surplus energy as they merge together. And with that surplus energy, you get your explosion.
At 2,500 feet.
It was fashionable in the 50s and 60s to imagine that populations could hide in cellars and emerge in time. If you want to survive a hydrogen bomb explosion, then you want to be in the next city, or indeed the next country.
The Bravo H-bomb test was the biggest nuclear detonation in American history. It was 15 megatons, 15 million tons of TNT, over 700 times bigger than the Trinity A-bomb. 10 years later, 100 miles away on the island of Rongelap, 90% of the inhabitants contracted cancer. Yucca Flat and Frenchman Flat, Nevada's nuclear test range. It would be dubbed by some as the fields where the giant mushrooms grew.
2, 1.
In 1963, a treaty was signed that sent all subsequent nuclear tests below ground. Today, this cratered landscape is a reminder of the tests that have ravaged our planet and its atmosphere over the past 50 years. Tests numbered not in their hundreds, but their thousands.
When you have the smart weapons that we know of today, such as the Tomahawk cruise missile, which can hit a target the size of a tennis court hundreds of miles away, then you don't need a very big bang at all. They started off with something this size, and they ended up with something this size, which you can fit on the head of a missile.
Smart weapons present the ultimate paradox. Humans at their most creative and their most destructive. Nowadays, the smart technology required to detonate those early nuclear bombs is child's play. The chilling fact is that today, with enough money to buy the plutonium, you could build your own bomb. From this to this. The initial flash melts your retinas. Not that you'd have time to register the pain and horror of instant blindness. Traveling faster than the speed of sound, the shockwave, a combination of hot air and gases, literally blows away everything in its path. Traveling at 320 miles per hour, the blast from a 1 megaton device vaporizes everything within a 2.5 mile radius. Four miles from ground zero, at 290 miles per hour, the blast still destroys all structure above ground. Even 8 miles out, everything flammable burns. Anyone not caught by the inferno has the air sucked from their lungs as it rushes to fill the vacuum left in the blast's wake. This vacuum forms the stem of the mushroom cloud as dust and debris are sucked up from the earth. As the fireball cools, water crystals form to give the cloud an icy shroud, a heavenly sight created from hell on earth.